What is going on, Raptors Nation? Luca here back with the post-game reaction. The Raptors make it 2 wins in a row for the first time since the beginning of the month. They get back to 500 at 8-8. They beat the Chicago Bulls 121-108. And boy, did we all get deja vu towards the end of this one or what? I put out a post on X and I said, every Bulls-Raptors game feels the same. Raptors dominate, get out to a big lead, then Zach LaVine gets hot, takes over, and the Bulls come back. It looked like that last part was going to happen again. The Bulls look poised to come back. I mean, they were down big. It felt all game long. Then they got it down to 7 with a few minutes left. They had all momentum on their side. Then the Raptors called a timeout, and then out of that timeout, they responded nicely. How about Scotty Barnes giving his energy in this one, particularly on the defensive end? I mean, he didn't, put up a ton of points, 13 points, but he did all the other things really well, man. 10 rebounds, 5 offensive. He had 6 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. He was a plus 19, 13 points. And then how about Scotty Barnes trolling DeMar DeRozan there at the end? I don't know how many of you caught that, but that was priceless. DeMar DeRozan arguing with the officials, and he basically got tossed, ejected, and then Scotty Barnes was doing like this, and he was getting all in DeRozan's face. Oh, my goodness. Scotty Barnes, we know he's a troll, and he was just trolling DeRozan as DeRozan left, and before he left, he actually shook Masai Ujiri's hand if you go play back that replay. The Raptors get it done. I mean, this was a game they absolutely needed to have. Obviously, we're early into the season, but these are games that you need to win, especially against bad opponents. And I think it's safe to say the Chicago Bulls, they've already decided their fate. This is a bad team. I mean, you just look at the lack of energy they played with in the first half. It's inevitable. This team is going to trade Zach LaVine, probably Caruso too, maybe even DeRozan, completely blow this thing up, and they're going to be tanking. I mean, this is not a good Bulls team, and I don't think they're going to turn this thing around. I think they're embracing them just blowing it up and starting the rebuild and starting it anew. Something that obviously has been a conversation with the Raptors as well. But you look at this one, guys, Raptors leading wire to wire. They did a good job in this one, particularly in that first half. They came out with a lot of great energy, a lot of great poise. The effort was there. I mean, 36-22 after the first quarter. Raptors shot at 53% from the field. They did only shoot it 33% from 3, but you look at the Raptors in this one, points in the paint, once again having the edge there. Total turnovers were similar, 13-14. Raptors had one more turnover than the Bulls. Largest lead, Raptors 20. Sorry, I said the Raptors led wire to wire. The Bulls actually had a 3-point lead at one point. That's how much, though, this was dominated by the Raptors. I even forgot the Bulls led at any point in this game. And the Raptors actually got to the free throw line quite a bit, which was nice to see. But they got to hit their free throws. There were 20 of 27. Luckily, this time around, free throws didn't come back to haunt them. And the biggest thing here, guys, assists. The Raptors continuing to do a great job. 32 assists. You love to see that. 32 assists on 44 made field goals. When the Raptors get that assist number high, they're moving the rock, everybody's touching it, and everybody's sharing it. They're tough to beat. As you look at this one, guys, I mean, if I told you that Barnes had 13 and, Siakam had 18, you probably would have thought this game would be a lot closer. And it's funny because these guys actually only combined for, I think, 7 points at halftime. They had very, very quiet games offensively, but the Raptors got a lot of production from their other guys. This was a classic game of the Raptors finally getting some of their other guys to step up. Guys like Anunoby, he led all scorers with 26 points. Jakob Poeltl had 15. Dennis Schroeder had 17, despite only shooting 1 of 9 from 3. All 5 Raptor starters finishing double figures. And then Gary Trent Jr., I got to shout him out. At the time we recording this, I would guess the chain goes to OG. Well, man, do you got to give Gary Trent Jr. a lot of credit, because when Scotty and Siakam didn't necessarily get off to a good start in that first half, it was OG and Gary Trent Jr. that shouldered the load, particularly Gary Trent Jr. I mean, this was a guy that almost cost the Raptors a night ago. All the talk's been about what's going on with Gary. He doesn't look right. He's struggling. He's in this rut. Gary Trent Jr. came into this game with an agenda. He was on fire from the field early on, finished with 16 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3. But this is the type of game, this is the type of hot start Gary Trent Jr. needed after the last couple of rough games that he had, particularly that one against Indiana. So Gary Trent Jr. was huge in that first half. Precious had 8. I thought he did a nice job in the minutes that he played. Flynn didn't score. Boucher, 4 points. And Grady Dick, 2 points in 9 minutes. Continues not to look too good out there. And it was said that Darko's looking to get Grady Dick some G League minutes when he can. So it is inevitable that Grady Dick is probably headed to the G League at some point in the immediate future. But look, this was a game that the Raptors, they didn't play with their food until the end, but you got to credit them because we know what happened the last time these two teams played. The Chicago Bulls erased the 17-point lead late in the fourth. They ended up winning the game. It looked like this was going to have the same type of finish, but the Raptors, out of that timeout, did a good job of responding. Barnes defensively was huge. They got a couple big offensive possessions on the other end. The Raptors get a much-needed win, and they needed this game because, look, the Raptors, when you look at the standings, you kind of know who are going to be the top teams. These games you got to win, especially if you want to try to get one of those 6 playoff spots. And I mean, I think we know who the top 5 teams are going to be. I know it's really early to be talking about this stuff, but, I think Boston, Bucks, Sixers, foregone conclusion. I think the Heat are for real. I think the Magic are for real. So that only leaves you with 1 playoff spot if you go based on that. And there's going to be a log jam of teams that the Raptors need to be better than if they want to get that playoff spot, or else they're going to be a playing team again. They're going to have to show they're better than definitely this Bulls team, who I think is headed for a rebuild. But, Indiana, who they beat the other night, the Knicks, who they haven't seen yet, Cleveland, who they're going to see on Sunday, which I think is going to be a massive, massive early game for them. The Nets, who they're going to see after Cleveland, another big game. So the Raptors, it's nice that they get this win, back at even keel, back to 500. They're 5-4 at home. And by the way, the Raptors won an in-season tournament game. I just want to throw that out there. But the Raptors were officially eliminated from the in-season tournament because the Magic stunned the Celtics. So Raptors, they do get an in-season tournament win, but they are out. They will not be playing in the knockout rounds. But look, nonetheless, this counts towards the regular season record, which is obviously huge for them. So the Toronto Raptors, they get some much-needed production from all their starters. Trent Jr. comes up big from off the bench, and it was just a rough day for the Bulls. I mean, other than Zach LaVine, who always shows up against the Raptors, getting that trade market value up, 36 points, almost single-handedly willing the Bulls back into this thing and, completing the comeback, it wasn't enough. As DeRozan was clearly frustrated, got ejected. He was a minus 31. DeRozan was not good. I mean, he did have 19 points, but it was tough for him all night. 5 of 9 from the free throw line. And then, the Bulls, they do not look like a good basketball team right now. So the Raptors take advantage. They get a win, much needed, and they are 500 after stringing together some nice wins against the Pacers and now the Bulls. And like I said, they will head out to take on the Cavs, and then they will be in Brooklyn. So 2 big road games coming up for the Raptors before they come back home to take on the Phoenix Suns. That's going to be another tough one. That is it for me, everyone. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Till next time, this is Lucas signing off. Stay safe.